And welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here today we will be doing a 5-year rebuild of the LA Rams, as you guys can see in the title. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you're all having a great day. Please leave a like, comment down below what you thought of today's action, and don't forget to subscribe. So, the LA Rams, a team that's led by a 36-year-old Matthew Stafford. You know, this will be really the first rebuild where I think that we have a true opportunity to contend in the first probably 2 seasons. If Stafford both keeps his overall and can get to star development. But eventually we will have to consider drafting a new quarterback. The Rams last year, Kyrie Williams here, he really much broke out a season ago. Excited to have a top tier running back on the team. We have both Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Puka here is the future at wide receiver for us. Got to give him every single opportunity that we can. Overall, I think we have a very good starting base roster to win games. Quality offensive line with some good running backs. And defensively, there's no more Aaron Donald. So who's going to become the new face of this defense here? And I think there's a lot of quality talent. I didn't even know they brought in Javarius White here from the Bills, but this should be a good year 1 for us. So let's get to the regular season and see how far we can make it. Well, halfway through year 1, excuse me, we're 4-2. So far, so good. This is a very young roster the Rams have put together for this campaign. Matthew Stafford, 10 touchdowns, 4 picks. Okay start. Very little rushing touchdowns. Kyrie Williams does have a solid 4.1 yards per carry, so pretty happy about that. Got to see some more touchdowns, and then every receiver is getting involved in this offense, which is nice to see. Offensive line isn't playing too bad either, and then defensively, we're getting some pressure, some good TFLs. We're a quality team. Hopefully, we can keep it up. Let's see who needs a new contract. We have $87 million. Jones here, he might not be a bad option to keep. John Johnson could be a solid option. Do we want to look for a new wide receiver? We have a tackle situation that we have to figure out. Okay, so I do think one contract to just kind of get off the rip at Miss Jones here. Just guarantee ourselves having a starting inside linebacker for the duration of this rebuild. And then for everyone else, Rob here, I'm also going to give a contract to. I think we can't let good players leave. So even if they're older like him, like Rob is, but we'll have $61 million. If there's any standouts in terms of this free agent class, then we'll bring them back. But let's get to the postseason. Let's see if we're going to be in the wild card action, or what's it going to look like for us. Well, after going 9-8, we have made it to the postseason. We are, I believe, the 7th seed. We are, and we'll be playing against the San Francisco 49ers. What was our record against them this season? Because this will be the 3rd matchup. We beat the Niners in the first one, and we lost to them in the second. So this is the winner take it all. We kind of throw everything out of the books. We're playing the number 2 seed. Do we get to the divisional round? I don't think we did. No, we lost. We lost 34-20 to the Niners. So first year, 1 and done of the postseason. Stafford threw maybe a late game or the ending interception, game-sealing interception. But you know, seeing the playoffs for the first time in a while in these rebuilds, it's nice to say. Stafford put up a solid season, not too bad. 25 touchdowns, 7 picks, close to 4,000 passing yards. Kyrie Williams, a little over 1,000 with 6 scores, so it's not too bad. Got to get those rushing touchdowns up. Cooper Kupp did Cooper Kupp things. Puka, he kind of struggled playing on the outside, but got to give Kupp the opportunity. Tutu Atwell, solid production, but nothing to write home about. And then AJ Jackson here allowed almost 20 sacks this season, so definitely not bringing him back. One of our rookie edge rushers picked up 22 TFLs and 8 sacks. And Bobby Brown here had a good season with 13 TFLs. Kobe Turner with 10 sacks to lead the way. So overall, our defense was very productive. Happy to see that. You know, we did make the wild card action. And let's see if we have any Rams here as the first place. And no. So, one and done in the postseason. Let's go check out the Pro Bowlers. Here's the Pro Bowl roster here. No quarterback. Stafford didn't get in. Neither did Williams. Cup got in. So we have so far one Pro Bowler. Maybe we'll get an offensive lineman. I don't see one. We had a quality defense here, so it wouldn't surprise me if some of our defenders got in, but I don't think we did. From what I've noticed, one Pro Bowler for us. Let me know down below if I missed any. But let's get to, let's see who wins the Super Bowl, and then we'll get to the re-signing phase. And the year one champs are the Baltimore Ravens, beating the Niners. Kyle Hamilton is your MVP. So the Ravens finally get their championship. Let's check out retirements. I think we have a very young roster here in LA, so it would kind of surprise me if we had any sort of retirements, and none to speak of. So, you know, we'll see how much regression kind of happens with Stafford. But the young players that we do have on this team very much produced. And so that should give us an opportunity for year 2 and beyond to make some headlines here. In terms of contracts, so Javarius White, he's still interesting coming back. He would want a 1 year, 15-ish million dollars. So that would put us right around 70. Could look to bring him back. John Johnson here, solid safety depth, but at this moment in time, I think White is probably the only player that I'm going to target. Yeah, I think he's the only one who's really kind of worth bringing back. Maybe Johnson, just to have a solid, safety on the roster. But we'll get this offer here to White. Leaves us with $70 million. We don't have a first round pick, 5th-year option decision to make. So let's get to open free agency. But first, we'll check out the roster here. Kind of see, where we have to kind of go in terms of improvements. So Stafford has now a true 79 overall. Still in the league. Still startable. So quarterback might not be on my top of my radar right now. Offensive line, especially left tackle, is a need for us. Maybe getting a new third receiver. Quarterback, maybe a new tight end, because Tyler Higbee here is getting older. He's 32 years old. And a lot of our talent, at least the youth of this team, is on the defense. Could look for a new free safety. Another corner could help. Someone at defensive tackle. Maybe another linebacker. So not a ton of needs. It's kind of just putting together the roster, or putting pieces back together on this roster. So we have 70 million. Let's see what I can do. Going after some solidifying positions. We're going after 3 25 or 26-year-olds here. Javon Holland, Paulson Adebo here, and Rondale Moore. With also David Bayaraki and Jermaine Baker here. These are the 5 guys we're going to target. They would solidify a lot of our positional groups, especially corner, receiver, offensive line. So if we can get all 5, it would be great. We solidified our secondary here with Holland and Adebo here. And we got Moore. I think the only one, I don't remember, and it was Baker who decided to go somewhere else. I think we offered him a little bit more money. It looks like David Bayaraki here is getting more offers. So for David, I'm going to raise his salary. He would be the last true free agent that I would want. So, and we did get him. So we solidified the offensive line, the secondary, and receiver. We can look into the draft to continue to get younger on this defense. And maybe a quarterback will fall to us as well. But those are probably the 2 biggest needs on the roster currently. Here's the current state of the roster right now. You know, I think we have our 3 receivers, our 2 running backs. We could look to add a tight end. We could consider drafting another receiver or even a tackle, because we kind of band-aid with David here. But overall, the offense I don't think needs a ton of more work. Defensively, you could argue bring in another off-ball linebacker or a defensive tackle. It is mostly just trying to continue to add quality depth and quality young players. We have the 19th overall selection, so let's have some fun here in the draft. Not a sexy selection here, but Zay Wade here, an offensive lineman, tackle. Just trying to get younger there. It is a position of weakness for us. He is hidden development. We kind of reached on him, but I think Wade could become our future left tackle. Allow him to sit for a season. Try to just earn him some sort of development, or not development, some good XP, and that's about it. I don't really know the longevity of Cooper Kupp, so Larry here in the 3rd round will take here. This will be my last selection here in year 1's draft. And Larry here, 33 ranked player, hidden development. He's not the fastest, but he could become our potential 3rd receiver for the years to come. I'm not going to pick anything from 4 and beyond, just to keep things moving. But 2 selections here. We kind of decided to go more the offensive side of the football and kind of more the long term for this offense, instead of, you know, trying to trade up and get a quarterback or try to improve massively on the defensive side of the ball. But Wade here, 71 overall, hidden development, solid ratings across the board. This is not a bad base to start off with, and only 2,000 points to earn a development boost, or an upgrade. Larry here, give him a year or 2, and he'll become our 3rd receiver. He'll do kickoffs for us. And then the CPU drafted us a defensive lineman, a backup quarterback, a corner, and another tackle. So got younger, happy about that. Let's get into year number 2. And for year 2, this will be the roster. We have Stafford still at quarterback. We brought in Rondale Moore to play the 3rd receiver for us. We brought in David to solidify this offensive line. You know, I think offensively we're very good. Defensively, we're very young. We have a complete secondary. We have a lot of good young pass rushers. Overall, I think that this defense is the thing that can carry us to victory. But probably after this season here, we will have to look to change quarterbacks, either a rookie or we kind of go into the veteran route. This roster is a win now type of team, so hopefully we'll be able to do so in this up and coming season and get further than the wild card round. So far, so good. 4-3 record, midway point of the year 2 campaign. Not too bad at all. Stafford 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions though. Kind of struggling a little bit. This is Sammy Kitchens, the quarterback that the CPU drafted. Just wanted to see if he decided to go to him, what could he do? Kyrie Williams playing a more touchdown-oriented season, but we're getting Blake some opportunities. Puka here is putting together a good season. He's now in the slot for us. So far, so good. Got to see a little bit more from this offense to continue to play well. And then defensively, our young stars continue to produce. Got to see some sacks, and interceptions are up, it looks like. So far, so good. In terms of re-signing, we have $64 million. Kyrie Williams here. He needs a new deal. Same with Javarius White, Jeremy Curl, Darian Hendrick here. So there's a few kind of starters or starting caliber players here. We could look to make a trade. Tyler Higbee needs a new deal. I would say probably the biggest one is Jeremy Curl at 26 years old. Could keep him all the years. The question is, do we want to keep Kyrie Williams? Trying to just get a selection out of him might not be a bad option. He's a top 10 running back, or even just tagging him. I do think, though, I am going to make a trade here. Probably try to move off of Kendrick here and Lake. Just try to add some more pieces. Maybe get a third-round pick for the two of them. Well, it looks like no one wants either one of them, so we'll keep them on the roster. We'll let them hit free agency. Let's get to the playoffs. Well, year 2 didn't go as expected. We went 8-9. Actually got worse, surprisingly. And we missed the postseason, but close to a 500 record. Stafford kind of took a step back this season. I think it's time to move off of him. Kyrie Williams put together an excellent campaign. I definitely think I'm going to tag him, or maybe worst case scenario, we, well, best case scenario, we keep him long term, but I think we kind of figured that out. Puka put up a good season. Rondale Moore supported. Cooper Kupp here maybe had his worst season to date in his career. So do we look to trade away Kupp here, try to just get younger? Higbee had a solid season. Offensive line played well. No standout. Well, there you go. David allowed 18 sacks. Defensively, our young talent continues to produce. No one over 10 sacks here. Really only 3 guys providing some sort of rush for the defense. So I gotta figure that out. And Javon Holland here had 5 interceptions. In terms of yearly awards, I don't think that we're gonna have any. And if we do, it'll be a kind of a surprise to me. But in terms of Rams, I don't see any. So let's get to the Pro Bowl roster and get into the second off season. Here's the Pro Bowl list here. No quarterback, no running back. Puka made it in at 4. I don't see a tight end. No one in terms of this offensive line. Defensively, I'm not seeing anyone. There's 2. That's our middle linebacker, Jones. So, and Holland as well. So we had 4, excuse me. Curl also got in. So we had 4 Pro Bowlers. So more Pro Bowlers, but no playoffs, which is unfortunate. But let's see who wins the Super Bowl here. This year's champs are the Dallas Cowboys, beating the Buffalo Bills 33-18. Micah Parsons is your MVP, so now they are the team to beat here. In terms of retirements, Rob here, our right tackle, decides to call it quits, but not Stafford. And Stafford is still under contract. This does now kind of put me in a position where we might have to look to move off of Matthew to try to just save some sort of money to continue to add players. But now tackle is becoming more and more of a need because I don't know if we're going to keep David either. So it's going to be pretty interesting here. Let's get to how much money we have. We have 103. Kyrie Williams, White here, Jeremy Curl, and then some depth pieces. Tyler Higbee. David needs a new contract as well. So I think first things first, we should try to keep Jeremy Curl. Solid safety. He can be our guy for the next 3 seasons. Got him. Travarius White here. Just a good number 1 corner to have on the team. He decides to stay. So the last big one is Kyrie here. Does he decide to stay? Or does he decide to hit the open market here? And he wants to hit the market. The tag would be $15 million. So that would put us at 65. I think we tag him. We don't let him go. We can go into free agency needing 2 tackles. Well, we're gonna have a lot of needs this offseason, so we'll see what we can do. Let's check out the roster. But I wanted to keep Williams just in case. Maybe we'd look to trade him at the end of next year or during the mid-season. So Cooper Kupp is now an 80 overall, 33 years old. And we could only save $2 million. Not gonna cut him. What about Stafford? 38 years old, 72 overall. We would save close to $20 million. It's just too good to pass up. So we're gonna move off of Matthew Stafford. Current best quarterback is Sammy Kitchen here. 2nd-year guy. Has a strong arm. But quarterback is going to be the focal point of this offseason, as well as right tackle. though we did draft Duke here. I think the CPU did, so we could theoretically start him. I would sit here and say in terms of this offense, we need a quarterback, a tight end, and then tackle. That's kind of like the order I would put it at. In terms of this defense, defensive tackle maybe, but I think we have our edge rushers. We have the talent. Just continue to find depth. So let's go to open free agency and let's see what we can do. So going after some just kind of starters dash just role players, DJ Reader here would be our big free agent get. Taylor Moton here to solidify the offensive line again. Cade Otton to be the solid tight end, and CJ Mosley and Gardner Minshew. I need to have at least a 70 overall quarterback, and Minshew can provide that. So let's evaluate here. And we got Reader, we got Moton, we got CJ and Gardner. So happy about that. Cade Otton, hopefully he comes to us. He's getting some interest now, but quarterback is still a need for us, and still probably tight end, and we'll kind of roll over the rest of the salary. Enter into the draft, our glaring need on this offense is still quarterback. Talked about that a little bit. Tight end is still a need. I think we're good at receiver and running back. And then defensively, I think we're kind of solidified here. I think everything else would be kind of just more icing on the cake than anything. But we currently have the 17th pick. We're going to look at the available board here. In terms of quarterbacks, there's one. Jonathan Bat here, I'm going to call him. Do we target him? Do we try to move up? But he's a top 5 projected player. Excuse me, Roger here. Roger Hawkinson. Do we go after Roger here and make him our future at quarterback? With that, we would probably have to trade up. Regardless, to get one of these two guys, we have to move up. So does that mean that Williams is that trade piece? Let's see what we can do here. Let's try to get a deal done here with Washington. And a deal has been made here. We're trading away Kyrie Wilson, our first 3 picks of this draft class, and a second next year to acquire a just depth receiver that we're gonna probably end up cutting, as well as the first overall selection. Doing this, want to solidify our quarterback position. We'll let the CPU handle things from here, but Roger Hawkinson will be the guy. I'm hoping that he can be the quarterback here. He's a ranked number 3 in the class, hidden development, 97 throw power, with a little bit of movement, and change of direction is pretty solid here. So that will be my only selection here, but we get ourselves a quarterback of the future. Hopefully, this can help the team. Now, yes, did we maybe pay a little too much moving off of Williams? Yes, probably, but we still have, what's his name? I forget the other running back, Blake something, to kind of play that role for us. Roger here, 77 overall, strong arm quarterback. Hopefully he can produce for us. We need him to. In terms of the rest of the selections, the CPU got us Christopher Jenkins here, and then some depth pieces across the defense. Or Jennings here, excuse me. Well, he will be probably running back 2 for this season. Let's see who the other top talent here. Running back, a pass rusher, it looks like, as well as an outside linebacker, probably an edge rusher as well. So no one in the 80s, but we still got a top 4 talent in this class, and it's going to be our quarterback. As this will be the roster here for year 3. We're going with Hawkinson, rookie quarterback. Wade, our second-year tackle, is now going to be in the fold here. Rondale Moore is our new number 2. And we're going to give Larry here the opportunity to be our 3rd receiver for this campaign. He's excellent underneath. A lot of these receivers are, so hopefully Rogers here can help him, or Roger, excuse me. Defensively, we solidified it with DJ Reader. We have a good secondary. overall, this is a quality defense. We brought in CJ Mosley. So year 3, the expectation is to get not just back to the postseason, but potentially further. So hopefully we can do so. Let's get to the midseason report, evaluate the team, or the midway point, and evaluate the team. Well, things are not going according to plan, and they never really do. We're 2-5, halfway through year 3, and so far Roger here not playing great football. 11 touchdowns to 8 picks. Really got to work on his short accuracy to really kind of, I think, be successful in this offense. Blake Kear's taking over pretty nicely for us, so happy to see that. Puka's doing his thing. Larry's having a quality year. So far so good, at least. Offensive line, Jackson here is struggling, but our their tackle situation is kind of fixed. Defensively, our young players are producing pretty nicely so far. So far so good. At least in terms of stats, it's just now we just need to turn it into wins. And I don't know if it's because we have a rookie quarterback. I have no idea. But we have almost $200 million. So we have a lot of re-signings to do. So Puka Nacua, take this 4-year deal, and he does. Kobe Turner here, he's an excellent starter across our defensive line. He decides to stay. Steve here, quality offensive lineman. Don't want to really kind of focus in on that. Kevin Dobbs, we can kind of think back. Brian Young here, who is a starter mostly on our base defense, but we could look to move off of him. Do I really want to move off of our 2 guard situation? Not particularly. So, I mean, and then we also have Cooper Kupp, Darius Williams, a couple guys that we could probably move off of right there. But in terms of our guard situation, I don't really want to lose either one of them. So Kevin here, we'll offer him a 3-year extension. Still about 120. We're still negotiating with Kevin. And then for Jonah Jackson here, let's give him this 3-year deal, and he stays. So we have at least 1 guard under contract. For everything else, we'll kind of look at more to the future. So let's get to the playoffs. Let's see if we can make a comeback here with 2-5, and I just can't believe that. Well, year 3, kind of a bust season. 5-12 here. One of the worst teams in the league. Roger, abysmal rookie season. He has a lot to work on here, and he needs to kind of turn it around for this team because people are not going to want to come here. Blake had a solid season, less than 1,000 yards, but 10 scores. Puka provided for us. Larry had a solid season, but it just was not enough here. Offensive line, in my opinion, played relatively well. And then defensively, quality defensive play here across the board. So, yeah, I think we're going to kind of have to go back to the drawing books and hope that, you know, with the Roger Rookie of the Year award, we can kind of take year 2 for him and turn the sophomore season into a very good year. Jared here, he is your best linebacker. So we did get some yearly awards, which is nice to see. It's just now, with all this upgrading and everything, we have the capital to make some more headlighting moves. It's just now, can we kind of put it all together? Here's your Pro Bowl list. We don't have a quarterback. Puka got in at receiver. Puka has been in the last 2 seasons for us. Not seen any offensive linemen. There's a defensive lineman for us, so that's 2, 3, and then I think that's it. Yep, that's it. So we had 3 Pro Bowlers. It's now time to start to win for this team. This team needs to win now. And the Vikings are the Super Bowl champs, beating the Kansas City Chiefs 31-30. Very close Super Bowl. JJ McCarthy is your MVP. In terms of retirements, don't really think we'll have any there. I mean, we might have a couple, but no one jumps off the board that I saw. So we're kind of now entering into year 3, or excuse me, year 4. You know, this is a key off season to kind of get, maybe this is our last really attempt to keep a lot of our key starters, but not even just that, it's our last attempt to bring in some big name free agents. We have $143 million. Jared here will give the 5th-year option to. Kevin here, I am actually going to offer him this 3-year deal, and he accepts. Javarius White, DJ Reader. I think we try to keep White for another season. He should be both startable and able to produce for us. For Cooper Kupp, unfortunately, I'm going to let him go. And for DJ Reader, same ordeal. But I want to make sure that we can keep White. $10 million for this season. We'll go into open free agency with 120. Plenty of capital to make some moves. This is the current state of the roster here. Roger is now a superstar development after the Rookie of the Year award, even though he threw over 20 interceptions. But gotta figure out the tight end position. That's a need. Receiver, I think we're kind of set at. And then defensively, gotta help out this linebacking core a little bit, as well as get a new third corner. But overall, I don't know how much more moves I can really do to improve this team. Going after 4 players, Marlon Humphrey, trying to solidify our secondary even more via Vea and Dawson Knox and Mac Wilson here. Trying to just get some key starters on important spots. We did get Vita Vea and Mac Williams, so our defensive front 7 improved. And we're still waiting on decisions here for Knox and Murphy. But now the Patriots want Dawson Knox. We don't have a 2nd round pick, so I'm making 2 selections in this up and coming draft. So this is kind of forcing my hand to give Knox more of what he's looking for. And we'll see if he comes in. If needed, I will look to draft a tight end, and it might have to be early on. As we enter into the draft, this is the state of the roster. Tight end is the glaring need on the offensive side of the ball. Could look to add a depth running back here. But I think our defense is basically solidified. Maybe an outside linebacker wouldn't be a problem, wouldn't be a bad decision to add. But I only have 2 selections in this class, and so I kind of want to make the most out of it. But we did get Marlon Humphrey here, so we have now our true, legitimate number 1 corner with Javarius White and Paulson Adebo. So we have the 6th overall pick. Let's get to our selection and let's make a move. Go with Lloyd Randall here, defensive tackle. C block shed, C finesse, B power, and A tackle. I think he will be a good defensive lineman for us. He has hit in development, but we took him a lot earlier than we should have. I just have to guarantee getting a tight end, so Matt Watson here in the 3rd round. He'll be the selection. I thought 6 was too early to draft a tight end, but we got Matt here, him and Dev, 85 speed. Sign me up, he's our new starter. Here's the draft class here. Lloyd Randall. I was just trying to get a talent here. Best player type of available. Lloyd here, he's a good fit, but probably would have been better for like a mid-round, 1st round to a late round, 1st round pick. But Matt here, he'll be a solid, productive tight end for us. He has already good short route running. He can catch the football pretty well. So I'm happy with those 2 picks. CPU drafted us a corner, a pass rusher, another corner, and a running back. So we did help out our depth there, but year 4, it's the key season. I say it every single time. If this is not the year that we can make it to the playoffs and at least make a little bit of headway, year 5 is almost kind of a bust season because we have to send out as much money as we can and go all in. But, I'm not looking to move off of our young quarterback. This is such an important season. let's get to the depth chart. And here's the roster for year 4. This is the season now. Year 2 for Roger Hawkinson here. 85 overall. You can push the football deep down the field. It's now time to win. We've made it to the postseason once. We were one and done. But we have Puka, we have Watson, we have Bynes here, we have Blake. He has a good offensive line, a very good defense, mind you guys. You know, I think that we've done everything that we possibly can for a good year 4, maybe even a great year 4. So let's get to the mid-season point. Let's see how far we can get. I want us to have a hot start, so then we don't have to worry about any sort of free agent re-signing thing. Well, this is not what I want to see. We're 1-5. How can that possibly be? Roger not doing much here. Is it our running game? Was Williams the guy that was really the engine for this team? It kind of seems that way. Defensively, they're not putting up the same numbers. We have 1 interception. This is just so... And then, you know, we have $107 million. We have a lot of important starters / key players up for new deals. But I'm almost at a point right now where I'm considering to trade away a lot of these guys. Just to get some investment back. I don't know what to do here. I do think we're gonna make some moves. I think it's just time to sell. Let's try to get maybe 1 or 2 first-round picks, or maybe a first and a second. But it's time to just move off of some of these players. Well, we're gonna get the first-round pick of the New England Patriots, trading away 3 key starters on the offense, but they're all in their last year of their deals. Help out the Patriots a little bit. We don't need these guys. And then trading away Paulson Adebo, White, and Villa for 2 second-round picks from the Broncos. Just don't need these players. Want to get younger. Maybe we look to trade these selections to get some other talent on the roster. And then for Brad here, I just don't want to let him go. So I am going to give him an extension, or attempt to. He does re-sign. Leaves us with $85 million. We're going to wash year 4 away. And hopefully, as we enter into year 5, we can have a little bit more success. Well, my playoff drought continues. We go 4-13 here in year 4. Leaving year 5, with a lot of more question marks than I really wanted. It's kind of putting us in this all or nothing type of situation. Again, it feels like that every single time in these rebuilds. Rodgers was able to turn down the interceptions, but not put up that much production. We traded away our starting running back, so Jenkins here got the opportunity. Didn't do much. Puka produced. Same with Larry here, but it just isn't a lot. For whatever reason, our left tackle is struggling in this rebuild. I know he's not much of a pass protector, but he still has a solid rating system. I just don't understand. Sack-wise, down a lot. We did move off of some defenders. So let's get into year 5. We're going to have money. We're going to have some major decisions to make. We have draft picks. Let's hope we can make year 5 a little bit more successful than just kind of one and done. Looking at the Pro Bowl list, no quarterback, of course, running back, no receiver. This might be the first time we're not gonna have any sort of Pro Bowlers. And it doesn't look like it. Actually, we do have one. So 1 Pro Bowler. I guess 1 is better than none, but year 5 here, it's all or nothing. As the Chiefs are the Super Bowl champions, beating the Detroit Lions 41-28. Patrick Mahomes is again your MVP. And Mahomes continues to win championships here. In terms of retirements, again, we have a young roster, and there isn't a single retirement from the Rams. So we're kind of now entering into year 5. It's our last chance to add any talent, really improve the team. We have first round picks, might try to make a trade or two, but let's see if there's anyone who's kind of on the rise to be re-signed. Zay Wade here, will give him the 5th-year option. And I think for everyone else, we're gonna let them test, go in with a little less than $95 million. So we have capital, we have cash. Let's see what we can do. Let's check out the roster first. Looking at the roster, definitely tackle is his position of need. Running back is as well, 3rd receiver. And that's kind of it for this offense. Defensively, and we're going to stick with Roger, excuse me. Defensively, I think we have our front 3. Maybe get another linebacker involved. Definitely another corner to solidify it even further. But we're just trying to add the most talent that we possibly can. Add a bunch of moves here. Jamar Gibbs here. Trina Arden here, Patrick Paul, tackle, Tutu Atwell, and Jerome Baker. Trying to just solidify some positional groups. We got 2 players, Baker as well as Tyron here. Couldn't get Gibbs, and I don't remember the other player that we were targeting. But right now we still have a couple competitive offers. Maybe there will be another player or two to try to bring in. These will be another couple options here. Tatiai here, and I can't say his name. And Marshawn Lloyd here will be other targets. Got a couple more players here, especially on the defensive side of the football. Let's get to the draft. We have draft picks. I am planning on moving up in the 1st round just to try to get the best players available and hopefully help this team out the best we possibly can. Current state of the roster here, need a 3rd receiver. Offensive line is solidified, receivers in need, and then defensively, really anything kind of can go here defensively. Maybe another corner. We have the 4th overall pick, though I do want another top 10 selection because we should have 2 first-round picks here. We have the 4th, as well as, if I can quickly find it, and the 5th, Jesus Christ. So, actually, we should be fine here. Let's make some moves. Rashad Collins here, wide receiver, will be our first-round selection. Collins is a pure deep threat, hidden development receiver. It's a top 10 talent, so happy about getting him. And then TJ Simmons here, top-tier corner, wanting to solidify our secondary even further. And he's number 1 in the class. And hopefully he's a top-tier playmaker for our defense. We got one more chance to make a good playoff run. James Johnson here, running back. Just trying to help out our playmaking positional group. How about another playmaker? Angelo Himmelman here, tight end. Trying to give us our 2 good tight ends on the roster. He does have hidden development as well. And then the 3rd round, Edward Wynn here, linebacker. Just trying to continue just to help out this team. Normal dev, but 90 speed. And I think we had a very good draft class here. You always kind of want this type of class in the first off season, but 76 overall receiver in Rashad Collins here. He'll be our number 3 guy. He'll be able to help out immediately. TJ Simon here. He'll be our number 3 corner to start off with, and I think he will be very good at true 80 overall. James Johnson here, running back. You'll be our solid number 3 or 2 guy on the team. He should be able to help out. Our number 2 tight end, Angelo Holloman, another good tight end. Just hoping that he can develop quickly and make some plays for us in his rookie season. And then finally, Edward Wynn here, who's a good cover linebacker. 90 speed, excellent athlete here. Could even probably play some safety if we needed him to. And then the CPU also got us some receiver depth and linebacker depth as well. So, year 5, can we get it back to the postseason? Please, for the love of God. as this will be the roster here for year 5. Okay, Roger Hawkinson, it's time to take that next step, and time to be the guy. You're almost an above average quarterback to an average quarterback in this league. You have the strength, the arm strength to do so. I decided to bring in Marshawn Lloyd here, be our top tier running back, drafted Collins, and the game decided to get me both Peter, or Patterson, and James here, a couple hidden dev young receivers. He has a good offensive line, defensively, kind of set here. We have the playmakers, we have the talent. It's just, can we put it all together here for year 5? So let's sim to the postseason. Yeah, so far these rebuilds have been both challenging and fun at the same time. You guys are right now seeing, what, the third, or the, excuse me, this is the 5th time I'm doing this. Kind of bouncing around the NFC. Please leave a like, just comment down below any sort of strategies I should be doing, or anything like that. And of course, subscribe to the channel, really would help me out. I'm having a lot of fun doing these. Definitely been a struggle, as we've only made it to the postseason twice in 2 of the 5 episodes, which you know, take a while to record and everything. And we did make the postseason. First time we have made it to the postseason, or in a series like this, we've made it to the postseason twice. We're 12-5. What a year for us. Finally being able to put it all together after 2 mediocre seasons. This roster was able to come together, win 12 games, and that has been the best record so far for us. As we can see, there's a lot of players kind of doing well for us. So let's see. Roger here put it all together. 4,000 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, 9 picks. Good season for him. Very good year for him. Running game, kind of bare bones here, but Rashad Lloyd here, less than 1,000 with 7 scores. Happy about that. And we got the other guys involved as well. But Puka Nacua here went off 1,700 yards and 16 scores. What a year. Rashad Collins here provided, being our new superstar receiver, and he's a true legitimate deep threat, where Rodgers does thrive better. And then Larry here, who we drafted back in the first class, he's turned out to be a solid, well-rounded receiver. So happy to see that as well. But this offense was Puka or nothing. In terms of this offensive line, they all played actually a lot better. Happy about that. And then defensively here, we again put it all together for us. We got 2 guys over 10 sacks. Overall, pretty happy about that. 2 guys with a total of 10 interceptions. So we should have some award winners. This is kind of meaningless, if you think about it. Puka's your offensive player of the year, and he might be, and he's the receiver of the year. But overall, Marlon Humphrey here also got a best corner. But this is it, guys. We beat the Niners, and we lost to them in the first playoff game we played in this 5-year rebuild. Can we get a little bit of a revenge and finally get a postseason victory? I can't tell. I don't think we won, and we lost 31-27. We flipped seeds, and again, the late game interception loses us. So we go 0-2 in the postseason in this 5-year rebuild. At least we made it to the playoffs a couple times. That's a lot better than... This has been the most successful rebuild out of any of mine that I've done out of these 5. But that's a low bar to be having right now. So what do you guys think of today's action? I mean, we were able to make some solid moves. I've been trying to be a little bit more aggressive early on in these series, trying to get a quarterback, trying to just to keep the team together while also adding in quality players. But something's not right. Maybe it's the playbooks. I have no idea, but it was fun rebuilding the Rams. This is definitely a fun team to rebuild. You kind of start out with a lot of money, which is nice. So, yeah, guys, please leave a like, comment down below if you thought of today's action, and don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you in the next one.